We're on DAB Digital Radio across central Scotland. We're online at the website rocksportradio.co.uk. Remember, I'll be here tomorrow with Dave McKinnon. Sports Saturday 2 until 6. Maximum sports chats into your Saturday tea time. Right now though, we're going to speak to Martin Hardie, and first of all we're going to ask Martin about the whole kind of Thistle connection and the fact that Martin, they've named that North Stand at Firhill after the legend John Lambie. What a fine tribute.
It certainly is, yeah. I think when you talk about Partick Thistle, the first name that comes to your mind or your memory is John Lambie. I know that obviously right through the generations everybody's all got a soft spot for John and everything that he'd done for the club, and rightly so. I think now, obviously, sadly, him passing away last week, that now we've named the North Stand in his name.
It's sort of appropriate that Thistle are playing Hamilton tomorrow because he was involved there as well, and a lot of people might think, well, that was the SPFL that set that up, but it's a nice thing if they did.
It is, definitely. I mean, I know he was involved with Falkirk as well, but 3 spells at Partick Thistle, and obviously being at Hamilton with the two clubs playing each other, I'm sure a lot of fans will think, it's a great day for Partick Thistle and Hamilton to come together to celebrate Partick Thistle, but knowing Alan, he'll be in the dressing room saying, right lads, listen, we need 3 points here, so hopefully Partick Thistle can get them on Saturday.
And were you part of Lambie's third regime at Thistle, or was it the second one, or was it the third time?
No, it was third.
Yeah.
What a fantastic experience, playing for a club at the time when I moved there, going to a club like Partick Thistle, which was a big step for me at that time, but to say that I was part of an experience learning from John Lambie, because there's a lot of things that I've taken on board throughout my playing career, and just in terms of the way he was a great man manager, is something now that I've taken into part of my coaching career.
But very much old school. A lot of shouting and a lot of balling, maybe?
A lot of shouting, a lot of balling, but never kind of what people would class as a hairdryer right up close in your face. It was always at distance, so it wasn't directly named right at you. It was so that the rest of the team and your teammates could take on board that, listen, if you're not pulling your weight or you need to do something different, then everybody was taking on board everything that he said. Well,
nothing wrong with that. And I mean, John Lambie, as you say, he was a player at St Johnstone, he was a player at Hibernian, but everybody knows him as this. For me, he was almost like a kind of Scottish Sam Allardyce. He was the guy that you went to if there was a wee bit of a problem, sort of thing. Well,
I think myself growing up, watching lots of football and stuff like that, when I initially signed for Partick Thistle, I can remember the players that were already there at the time, which was the second division, and there was Ray Montgomery, the Kilmarnock skipper for the cup final. We had Brian Martin, we had Derek McWilliams, Albert Craig, and these were all guys that I'd seen playing on Scotsport on a Sunday, do you know what I mean? So I'm looking around the dressing room and going, at the time I was just coming up for my 24th birthday, so at that time I'm thinking, God, these guys have got some amount of experience. So again, that's what John was brilliant at. So as you say, whenever at that particular time Partick Thistle needed somebody to steady the ship and get the club going again, thankfully the fans had done the Save the Jags and stuff like that, so I think John had just taken it on that step by step, and unfortunately for some, they were made to be released from the club, and new and younger players come in, and as we all know, it kind of came to fruition.
Yeah, and John had to do what John had to do. You were saying off air there that you came to the pro game fairly late for a lot of footballers.
Yep.
24, 25 years of age. You were at Queen's Park. You were at East Stirlingshire when they were still a Scottish League club, and then Thistle in 2000 to 2003, 104 appearances. 29 goals, by anybody's standard, that's not a bad record at all. And you obviously always just wanted to be a footballer. That was,
when I played boys club and stuff like that, I played for Clydebank Boys Club from probably the age of, I think it was 11 till I was 16. Which would probably be classed as academy football nowadays, but I just got to the point where when I was at 16 I was starting to hang a bit more with my pals and stuff like that, starting to do more social things, fell a baby bit, and then eventually get picked up by Queen's Park, and then as you say, at 20 starting to learn senior game. I was quite a good player, but one thing that when I came into the senior game was, my God, these guys are a lot fatter than me. So that was it was always a catch up. process for myself, and then even when I went to Partick Thistle at the time when I was with East Stirling, I felt as if I was probably one of the better players in League 2, which was the old Division 3 at the time. Actually on the brink of moving to Berwick Rangers, and I needed somewhere to train on a Tuesday night, and I knew somebody at Partick Thistle. They put a word in for me, and then John Lambie had watched the video because we'd played them in the Scottish Cup, and 1 minute I'm sitting in an office in Firhill signing a contract, and the rest is history.
So then on to Kilmarnock, and then Airdrie United, St Johnstone in 06, but back to Thistle on loan in 2010.
Yep. My time at St Johnstone, at that particular time, I was coming back from 2 operations in my left knee. I had a compound fracture, in other words, the bone in my tibia had actually crushed by 25mm in a challenge, and I ruptured my cruciate. Took me 10 months to get back fit. Derek McInnes was wanting me, or he'd asked if I'd like to go on loan. It would help for me to get back some match fit, and I was keen. I wasn't a training player. I didn't want to be at St Johnstone just train. I thought, right, let's go. And there was really only one club that I would have went to on loan. I didn't want to go to any smaller club, although St Johnstone were in the Premier League. I wouldn't have really went to a kind of part-time team like Brecon or something like that just to play, but when the option to come and play for Partick Thistle was there, I spoke to Alan Archibald, says obviously a lot of good young players and stuff, so I went there and played the 3 games.
And it obviously helped, because then I moved to the Pars, Dunfermline, 2011 to 2012, 42 appearances, 9 goals. I mean, you were back in first team football, and I know for a fact that East End Park is a great atmosphere. When they get a crowd in there, it's a great ground. I
must say, it's a terrific club to be at. Having played there only for 18 months, I was there. But when they've got when they've got the fans behind them and they're on a good competitive run, and the fans can sense that the players they've got, there's good unity, and they're beating teams convincingly, and there's a real core at that club, and I think it was probably more. I'd seen that more than ever. And I mean, they're still getting crowds of over 5,000 just now. Do you know what I mean? And at this particular time, I think they're either 3rd or 4th in the league.
There's a kind of swagger at the Pars as well, because they still link back to the 60s thing. You know, when they were in Europe, and I mean, they're not thinking, you know, we're going to get back in Europe or anything, but they're still thinking, we've got to kind of live up to the team in the 60s, I feel like.
Of course, and I've been through and I've met some of the team, Roy and Callahan and some of the older guys. I can't remember exactly every one of them, but when you go there, these guys are held in high esteem.
Absolutely. So then to Morton, and then kind of winding down, the career at Airdrie Onions.
Yep. Was released by Al Moore at Greenock Morton. I think I had a particularly good season, considering I was playing centre midfield, but holding midfield. Usually I was box to box and getting forward and stuff like that, but I still managed to score 10 goals from that position. Was released at the end of the season. At that time I was a wee bit subdued, because I felt as if I was bringing players on, and I would have loved to have stayed for another year, but it never happened. And then eventually signed for Airdrie part time, and it was a bit of a step back in terms of standard quality. Obviously the players that they had, it was a kind of transition from me going for being full time to then part time. I was coming up for, I think, roughly 38 at the time, and would I say I think a lot of people could say his legs were going and stuff like that, but I think your legs can go when you're playing in a poor team, because you're always chasing the ball, and when you're not 24 anymore, it gets that wee bit harder. So no, it was a good experience. And
I mean, at St Mirren now, with the under-17s, I mean, you obviously must be taking things from Lambie. You sometimes must, shout at players and think, oh my God, I'm channeling John Lambie here.
Well, I must say that I think if I was to give some of the players in my under-17s team some of Lambie's kind of shouts and demeanour, I don't think it would quite work in this day and age. But no, there's a lot of traits that John's management style is good for football, because I think there is there's a softness starting to creep into Scottish football. I think through the centuries that we've had a lot of steely players, we've had magical players that are great on the ball, but there's always been a team unity, and I think not so much with the national team, but I think there's a lot of kids that are right good footballers coming up, but some of them really actually don't know how to head at a ball, use their physical presence. It's all about touch, and I think that's obviously coming from.
Is it going to get to the stage, Martin, where maybe football will end up a non-contact sport?
I think we're borderline going that way.
Right.
I think when you watch a lot of the big games on Sky Sports BT in terms of European games and stuff like that, I think so many people are watching that they're picking up little traits of that, when there's maybe times when you can cut across and players now are going down far easier than they did probably when I played. But again, that's a change in the way the game's going. Maybe for the better, because I don't think there's a lot of players, if you could say 10, 15 years ago, could probably go and play now, because it was all about heading, tackling, winning your battles against the player you were playing against. And I think a lot of, more so the technical players are protected now. Don't get me wrong, there's sometimes when obviously like Neil Lennon's complaining about John McGinn getting scythed, but again, that's just we've got to learn for that.
Okay, Martin, thanks very much for that. John Lambie tomorrow. Are you going to manage to get to the game tomorrow? Are you going to go with St Mirren tomorrow? Or?
No, I'll be up at Thistle watching the game.
Okay, well, Martin, thanks very much for coming in today. All the best to you in your future careers. And as we say, that John Lambie stand, that North Stand at Firhill now is now the John Lambie Stand.